What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are here for our second Madden 22 realistic rebuild, and that is, as voted on by you guys on my Twitter, the Green Bay Packers. This is our first rebuild as well, post-scouting update in Madden 22, so it's going to be exciting to see how we can involve the brand new scouting update into our realistic rebuilds. We'll be using realistic draft classes for the 2022 and 2023 drafts. So that should be fun. And one of the things that I kind of have when I come into these realistic rebuilds is I have a general idea of the players that I want to target in the draft. And when it comes to Green Bay, I actually don't. I think it's very much going to be like a best players available type scenario. I think we can get better on the offensive line. We can get better on the defensive line. We can get younger on the defense. We could get younger on offense. You know, we have a quarterback that's probably not going to be a big part of this rebuild beyond this season, beyond maybe next season, depending on how that all kind of works out. We have a wide receiver in Davante Adams that is pretty unhappy from all accounts, but I think that's more of a money thing. I think Aaron Rodgers is an organizational thing. I think for Davante Adams, if the Packers are willing to pay him top tier dollar, I think he might stay in Green Bay and try to see what he can do with Jordan Love. So all that is going to have to be figured out here in this rebuild. So first, let's look at the hire and assign scouts, because it is the brand new flashy feature here. I think it's fun. I've been enjoying it. Haven't gone fully fledged into it, but right now we got John Kuhn, fullback, great. Don't really need positional expertise at running back because we have, you know, AJ Dillon. We have my adopted son, Aaron Jones. And we got a full, I mean, that's just, I think we'll keep him on just for the memes. We have tier 1 scout here in the Southeast. Rios, wide receiver. We have Carlos Anderson, three tier with middle linebackers. So I have openings, I think, for 2 tier 1 scouts. You can't just stockpile all the top ones. So I want to get one guy for sure on the offensive line. Let's actually just go for the ones because it's the only ones I can get. I like Mark Hayes. I think that's what we want. I mean, right guard and center. So what we got? Rodney Carpenter, Darren Frazier. Let's bring in Darren Frazier. Get a little bit there on the offensive line. I think I want to get a scout here on the back end. And looking at Rondé Barber, I tried signing him, and for whatever reason, I already have a 2-star. Okay, each scout has a tier 1 to 3. When replacing a scout, you must replace one with the same tier. So I clearly must have fired, or we have an opening for a tier 1 scout. I do think it needs to be a defensive back specialist. So I don't know if we can get a guy that's a strong safety. Nope. All right. So I'm thinking just corner. We'll go with the best tier 1. We have Tariq Atkins, Jeremy Lewis. Yeah, Tariq Atkins sounds like, you know, he'd be able to find the guys that are a little bit more electrifying. But there we filled out our scouting. Now let's get a quick snapshot of our roster, and then we'll kind of do a little bit more of a deep dive on our roster, and we will start this rebuild. So just looking big picture for the Green Bay Packers, offensively, it's certainly a work in progress. So we got Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins on the offensive line. They spent a decent pick bringing Myers, the draft pick out of Ohio State, to come in and replace Corey Linsley. We have John Runyon. I might actually put Runyon at right guard just because obviously his dad was important. He's better, probably more upside than Patrick. And at right tackle, you have former Eagle great, who remembers Dorial Green Beckham. But Dennis Kelly at right tackle, offensive line needs a little bit of work. We have Rob Tunyon, tight end, 80 star dev. I think we can work with that. Obviously, at the skill position spots, we have Davante Adams, who wants a new contract. We have Aaron Rodgers, the reigning MVP, who seems like, you know, most likely the bridges probably have been burned there between him and the Green Bay Packers. That is not necessarily the plan in this rebuild, but I did select the Packers. I think a lot of people wanted to see me do the Packers under the assumption that it would be Jordan Love running the show. So we'll approach this offseason as delicately as we possibly can, but, you know, big changes could be coming here for the Green Bay Packers. But beyond Davante Adams, I mean, they got Randall Cobb, veteran, MVS. You know, you argue does Amari Rodgers have some outside? He was really good at Clemson, but I think wide receiver is a big-time position with or without Davante Adams that we need to improve. The running backs are good. Aaron Jones just got paid in the prime of his career. AJ Dillon, great complimentary back, so hopefully we have a good 1-2 punch there for this whole 5-year rebuild. Defensively, front 3, Clenny Clark is very good. Outside of that, unfortunately, not a lot of upside. Rest of the front 7, we have Zadarius Smith, superstar, Devondre Campbell, Barnes, Rashawn Gary. I kicked him to the other side. I think an argument can be made. Maybe we see if we can shift Preston Smith. Throw him up on the, I mean, could probably force a trade at some point. I want to see more so for the trade block. He is very much surplus requirement. If we can land a lineman, if we can land a wide receiver, if we can land a corner. Because, I mean, he's only 28, has to start, have still some upside, not ridiculously expensive. I'll throw him on the trade block, and then if not, we'll see if we can manufacture a trade. Secondary is, Amos and Savage are solid, but the issue when it comes to the secondary for Green Bay is that it's really Jair Alexander and everybody else. Sure, you got Eric Stokes, who I personally like out of Georgia, but there is no dev trait there. And in terms of a rebuild upside, he's going to be a guy that's really utterly dependent on his dev trait, and if he can get a dev trait scenario sooner than later. So I think corner is an area we need to get better on. The front three, getting some help for Kenny Clark's important. A second middle linebacker, because Devondre Cahill, 77? He's 28, kind of a limited ceiling. So there are a lot of key pieces that I think we can build around, but I almost think you just have just as many, areas that are concerned, and we're going to have to try to fix and rebuild. So let's go, man. Let's go, man. We are going to rebuild the Green Bay Packers. What's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? What's going to happen with Davante Adams? We're going to find out. But before we get into that, we do need to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor. Before we get into things, we got to give a big shout out to Bounty Sports for sponsoring today's video. Bounty Sports offers the most user-friendly betting site I think I've ever used. On Bounty Sports, players pick winning teams while competing against other fans for cash prizes. The entry fees range from as low as $1 and all the way up to $50 for the high rollers, with prize pools getting as large as up to $1,000. I think overall, what's attracted me to Bounty Sports is the low risk entering to potentially big payouts. And with weekly NFL contests, over here, we're gonna try and secure the bag. Signing up for Bounty Sports is very easy. I've used sites before, very difficult. You gotta jump through hoops just to get in and get on the action. Not here with Bounty Sports. And then make sure right down there in the referral code, use my code Bounty4. Let's take a look at this week's NFL games and get in on the action. Last week on Bounty Sports, just from what I used to record the ad, I won both contests that I entered. It's that easy. So for this week, let's just go week 6 pick 'em. A lot of action on the $5 contest. Let's jump right in here. Let's quickly make our picks. It worked very well last week to go undefeated. I'm going to grab the Dolphins over the Jags, Packers over the Bears, give me the Colts over the Texans. Gotta pick a couple upsets. I'm gonna sneak in the Detroit Lions, man. They're fighting. I'll take the Vikings over the Panthers. Doesn't look like McCaffrey's playing. Give me the Rams, Chiefs, Chargers. Upset over the Ravens. Lamar's on fire, but I like it. Give me the Cardinals. Give me the Cowboys. Give me the Broncos. And I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Russell Wilson-less Seattle Seahawks. If you sign up using the link in the description with the code BOUNTY4, you'll get a free $5 credit to start winning today, and there's no strings attached. No minimum deposits, no payment info, just $5 to test the site out for yourself, and it doesn't get any more risk-free than that. Pick some winning teams this week, try and compete against me, and win some big prizes on Bounty Sports. So for our trade offers from the rest of the league for Preston Smith, he's going at about a 3rd round pick. Nothing high. I would be kind of surprised, pleasantly surprised, if we get anything better than a 3rd round pick. In 3rd round, I feel like we could probably find a like for like-ish player of similar caliber, similar ceiling, and improve our squad elsewhere. So let's hit the open market and see what we can do. So here's the trade that we have made, and I think it's pretty damn fair when you think about it from a realistic standpoint. Realistically, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is terrifyingly bad this season. So someone like Preston Smith, 80 overall, only 28, so still really has 2-3 more seasons of being in his prime, as well as a 3rd round pick for the former 2nd round pick, McCole Hardman, who is, I think he, might need a little bit of a change of scenery. The fact that, you're the 3rd receiver, not even the 3rd, he's probably the 4th receiving threat right now in the Kansas City Chiefs, behind Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Demarcus Robinson. He's averaging right now this season, he hasn't had a career in his 3 years where he's averaged more than 40 yards a game. So he's just a guy that brings a lot of speed. That's kind of it. So I think a fresh start somewhere else for the Kansas City Chiefs to give a guy that's, when you're signing Josh Gordon off the street to try to get you some more receptions, to get more, ball movement downfield, because you're just not getting it from a guy with like 97 speed. Maybe it's time to try to still get value while there's some there and get better on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this deal works out very well for both teams. And as always with the realistic rebuilds, I wouldn't be making deals unless, I don't want to ruin it, especially right at the very beginning of the video. And I think this could be a very realistic trade. I think 1 for 1, like for like, probably not, because there's 4-year age difference between Preston Smith and McCole Hardman. But you throw the 3rd round pick in there, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, currently, with how bad their defense is, would jump all over that trade. I also didn't really forget this. I didn't highlight they got Jalen Smith, formerly the Cowboys. Could still be something there. I'm going to give him his opportunity just as our starting sub linebacker, even though, someone like Devondre Cahill might be a little bit better. I feel like We'll have Barnes and Campbell be our starters. That'll be the way we get Jalen Smith on the field to see if he, much like McCole Hardman, can kind of recapture that flame that they had coming out of college and pan out in the NFL. And this is exactly the kind of thing you want to see, man. First week that McCole Hardman's in the roster, we have a veteran in Randall Cobb, who they just traded for from the Houston Texans, and he wants to take McCole Hardman under his wing. Couldn't hang on to anything. And when you think of someone like McCole Hardman, it's absolutely getting open. He's a guy that has all the physical talent in the world, but concentration jobs, being able to run routes, and I think for how we're going to want to use him, we're going to use him down deep. He's going to be our deep threat, and I think that if we can get Randall Cobb to kind of figure out a way to unlock him. I mean, Randall Cobb been there, done that, understands what it's like to play wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers, for Green Bay, in Green Bay when it's cold. Hopefully that can help him out, man. So scouting, I just moved my webcam into the center here just so I can show you this. I did my reaction, my review, my initial impressions of the new scouting mechanic a couple days ago, but I think big picture, ultimately, I think it's a feature that is going to be good in regular franchise modes, like when I do the main channel franchise and stuff like that, where you're kind of going week to week and you can keep up. In a 5-year rebuild, it definitely is a little more tedious because we're going through so many seasons. It's a little bit of a different niche of style of franchise. It's still going to be, still going to be enjoyable. But, I mean, there is, from a sake of a 5-year rebuild, I'm going through 5 or 4 different draft classes. Just being able to hit X 3 times and get your big board out is a teeny bit easier. But I'm actually kind of hoping that it adds a more difficult element. Because, while I am, and I got this ordered in on the mail, the king of drafting, I like a little bit more challenge to it. So, I mean, I guess I could answer a question here and now as we start to scout some of these really talented players, is how am I going to handle these scouting in the realistic rebuilds and just rebuilds in general. I just think, honestly, the easiest way is just line up your scouts in the regions. You have your regions now, and it gives you information about the strengths and weaknesses for each region. Well, obviously for the national, that's the strength and the weakness of the draft class. But in West, look, I got in the West region, strength was corner, so I'm going to send my corner scout, my corner background scout to that region. Same for Central. Kuhn is going to help out the running backs. In the Northeast, our wide receiver specialist is going to check out the wide receiver. Sometimes it's not going to perfectly kind of line up. I have Darren Frazier here, who's more on the offensive line, and the strength and weaknesses, there's just, it didn't line up. So I guess technically, if you really wanted to, you could almost go into a draft, if it's a randomly generated draft, look at the strength and weaknesses for all of your options, all 4, and then you can honestly fire all your scouts and then rehire the scouts that would best match, so you can have 4-4 or 5-5 with your area scout and their expertise kind of matching the strengths for all the different areas. But for this, I mean, 4 or 5 is pretty good, and I guess as this goes, we'll probably keep up on the mock drafts, see what the mock drafts are saying the Packers should draft, all the way up until the actual draft. So the last thing, and I feel like I didn't make enough of a point about this at the beginning as we start week 1. This is going to be a rebuild that Aaron Rodgers, we're going to have Aaron Rodgers until he's not here no more. I think that's the easiest way. I don't necessarily think I'm going to come in with a massive contract for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's very clear he doesn't want to be here anymore. So I'm not going to abuse the mechanics of the game. We know in real life, this is a realistic rebuild, that this guy, he's I'm not going to say he's checked out, but I think he's going to probably finish his career with some team other than the Green Bay Packers. So this rebuild is done under the understanding that this is eventually going to be a successor rebuild for Jordan Love. Anybody else, especially this guy, I think money could speak well, and we could potentially keep him in, but I have no idea what the salary cap looks like for Green Bay. We will find that out as we get later on in year number 1. So without further ado, let's get it. So taking a look at our first mock draft, I just kind of want to see, who do you have us get, from this standpoint. We're doing our scouting, we're taking the time, but big picture, depending on, this is a C4 or Bengal mock draft, they currently have the Green Bay Packers getting Nick Bonito, edge rusher from Oklahoma. Don't think that's really where we'd be going, considering we have Zadarius Smith, considering we have Rashawn Gary, breakout Rashawn Gary enough to send Preston Smith packing to the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think we're going to, I don't agree with this mock draft. Okay, this is kind of cool. Kind of talked about Eric Stokes. Liked him coming out of Georgia. Did not like his dev trait. And here in week 3, we have an opportunity to get Eric Stokes at least up to a star dev trait in his rookie season. And that's huge, man. I think we lost. We actually lost to the Steelers. But a dev trade scenario for first round draft pick Eric Stokes, that is huge, coming after a draft class that most Packer fans were pretty upset about. Oh, we actually have a little bit of a storyline here. McCole Hardman, new man on the block. Talking about Davante Adams, taking the game. Or what do you got? We want to, honestly, I want to challenge him. We brought him here to elevate his game. I don't want him talking to me about Davante Adams, a guy that we may not even have in this locker room come next season. I don't want you to be gassing him. I want you to, become the next Davante Adams. So we got XP for him, and he's inspired McCole Hardman to go on and have a game against the Cincinnati Bengals. I actually have yet to have a tandem breakout hit. But you know what? Maybe this is good. Someone like McCole Hardman, have a little bit more adversity. Things are not going to be all peachy, even though you have Aaron. I mean, imagine just not excelling, going from Mahomes to Aaron Rodgers to be your quarterbacks in the NFL. Come on, buddy. We have a prospect spotlight. Let's see. These are real prospects. They're telling us, take a look at Jermaine Lowe, defensive tackle from Arizona State. Okay, we'll keep an eye on him. I mean, he's not really a scheme fit. He'd be a guy that we brought him in. We'd have to consider him as a 3-4 defensive end, but that's good to know. We have another breakout scenario. Could potentially hit here. We're looking for Eric Stokes. Let's go, man. If we can get Stokes from a normal dev up to a superstar dev in his rookie season, that's, Jair Alexander, superstar Eric Stokes. I'm giddy about that. All right, things have settled down. Okay, a lot less moving pieces. Did not hit it as we fell 27-17 to Justin Fields in the grill. Those Bears, man. Come on. All right, so we're at the midway point of the season. Time to talk about contracts. Time to preview Mock Draft 2. See, we have something a little more accurate, a little bit more in line with the weaknesses of this Green Bay Packer organization. And now, second swing of things, we are now projected to get left tackle Jackson Kirkland. I don't hate that. We can slide into right tackle, slide, Bakhtiari to right tackle. I guess that's the way you could justify that selection. Still not ideal, for sure. But, I mean, again, right tackle, I guess, yeah. When you have Dennis Kelly as your starting tackle, you probably need a little bit more help. So let's look at some contracts. We have 11 players set the open market. I'm not sure how much money we actually have to spend at our disposal. So let's start a little bit on the thin end. Chris Barnes. Wow, we have no money. We are not going to be able to re-sign. I thought all along, I was like, all right, I'm going to sign Davante Adams, and people are going to, not be up in arms, but be like, oh, come on, you got Rodgers coming on. I don't have the money. Can I sign Tunyon? I can sign Tunyon, but he's 27. I feel like he's a little bit replaced. Okay, best player, in terms of upside, it's definitely Chris Barnes. 23, has the dev trait. 76, a position we're not particularly strong at. So we got Chris Barnes locked in. I think after that, I think we're going to be 1-0 in Jalen Smith. I think, MV, these guys are replaceable wide receiver. I think a punter's a punter, right? I don't know. Like, should we be spending when we have this much limited set? I think we should try with Tunyon. 4 years, 27, 28, 29. 3 of those 4-year contracts, he still should be developing. But I don't even know if I can give him an offer that will make him come here. No. So, yeah, this is tough. This reminds me of a Philadelphia Eagles rebuild. So you have an option while you're going through your season to focus players. So we have super focus scouting on 3 players in season. So there needs to be 3 realistic targets for us. I think right now, knowing that we can't bring back Davante, we should look at a wide receiver that could be available maybe, bottom half of the first round. So I'm thinking we go Mechie, we go Treylon Burks, and if we're losing Bob Tunyon, I think it's also going to be worthwhile. I mean, Watermeyer, first round. Billingsley has fallen a lot, but he's super talented from Alabama. I think those are going to be the 3 players. Mechie, Burks, Billingsley staying right down there in the SEC. Let's get some more information on these guys. All right, we got a breakout scenario late in the season on the offense side of the ball. McCole Hardman, get him 3 touchdowns, 150 yards here against the Cleveland Browns. He could be going up to a superstar dev, which is huge because, Davante Adams is gone. And he actually hit it. I got to double check this. I got to reaffirm this. Did Davante Adams? No, there's no way. There's no way. Put this right now. If I put this in the video, I'm recording this as in, I know that there's no way he hit this. I'm just confirming so I can go back and nuke that dev trade. How have they not fixed that yet in a patch is beyond me, but did he actually hit it? Holy shit, he hit it! Yes, let's go! And that is how you trade. I was like, there's no way he's in it with Davante Adams on the team. And McCole Hardman is now, we got our guy. We got our replacement. I mean, still a lot of room to go for him to catch up to Davante Adams. But this was, essentially a flyer. Change of scenery for McCole Hardman, who hasn't really failed to live up expectations for the Chiefs. And he's come here to Green Bay and has absolutely thrived. Now up to a superstar dev. I'm glad. Hopefully that means they fixed it, because it was really bad before. Anytime you get a superstar dev trade scenario, at least on the offense, it would hit every single time, regardless of if your player actually hit it. He hit it! Full kudos to him for hitting it. So we finish out year one, 12-5. First place in the NFC North. But this is going to be one of those rebuilds where it's going to be like peaks and valleys. We're going to start here, and we're probably going to go like this. And hopefully someday with Jordan Love get back up to a certain plateau. But 12-5 year one, that's about meeting my expectations. For scouting, I'm still trying to figure out what's going to be the best way to kind of update and show off scouting here in rebuilds. Just because, I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much. Like, you can see players that are going up. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like just, keeping up with the mock drafts gives us something to talk about. And then, right, obviously, before the draft, we can kind of look at our big board. Because not a whole lot has changed just yet. We're still gathering information. And, obviously, the big chunk of that happens in the offseason. So, let's see who did what this season. All we know for sure is, looking at the big numbers, Aaron Rodgers. Outstanding. 73% completion percentage, leading the league. Rest of the numbers, Aaron Donald, 28 sacks, is kind of disgusting. Amos is up there with 4 picks. Third in the NFL. Let's look at the stats here. And I don't even really care what these stats say. I'm just so freaking pumped that McCole Hardman went up dev trade. That's a trade for the ages. So Aaron Rodgers finished year one, 5,100 yards, 33 touchdowns, 9 picks. Pretty good year for Aaron Rodgers. Not MVP-esque. My God, Aaron Jones. Almost 1,500 yards rushing, 25 rushing touchdowns. Those are prime LT numbers right there. That was my first year playing fantasy football. That's the kind of stat lines LaDainian Tomlinson was giving me. From a receiving standpoint, we have 114 catches, 1,700 yards, and 7 touchdowns for Davante Adams. 105 catches, almost 1,400 yards, and 10 touchdowns for McCole Hardman. Let's go. 6-4 Tunyon, 5-7 Lazard. Definitely kind of low numbers for Aaron Jones with the backfield there, but very happy with those numbers, especially right there. McCole Hardman. I mean, I don't think I'm going to find... There might be like 1 in 20 that might have been upset with that first trade. I think that trade made a lot of sense to me. And I feel like if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'd be like, I kind of like Hardman. He's only 23, has some upside. He's really fast. But when you have all the other weapons in terms of pass catchers, you have someone like Mahomes that you hope can elevate the lesser wide receivers, and you desperately need help on the defense, plus getting a 3rd-round pick. I think if I was doing a Chiefs rebuild and I put McCole Hardman on the trade block, that's kind of the direction I would honestly look. So I have no problem with that, and I'm glad that it's paying immediate dividends with him going up dev trade and playing like that in the sim. Defensively, Chris Barnes, who is really the only guy we could afford to re-sign, dominated, 146 tackles, taking up that Blake Martinez role of a lot of tackles. Does that equate to a good linebacker? Who really knows? 9.5 sacks for Sean Gary, 9 from Zarius Smith, 8.5 from Kenny Clark. All of our big-time guys got big-time numbers. 4 interceptions for Amos. Really disappointed there for Jair. I like to see Jair. Interceptions don't mean anything, but in a Madden sim, you like to see, X factors, top 5 players in the position, kind of perform like a top 5 player in their position. A quick look at the yearly awards. MVP went to Patrick Mahomes, with Aaron Jones coming in at number 6, Aaron Rodgers at number 10. Going through the NFC, let's just see if we have any Green Bay Packers. I think it'll probably be fairly light here. David Bakhtiari is O-Lineman of the Year, and that is unfortunately all we got. But team success always trumps individual success. That's how you build a winning organization. And let's start year 1. The last dance against 9-8 Seattle Seahawks. Let's start this playoff journey. Seattle, definitely a beatable team. At home, Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers. The fans know what's going on. It's a changing of the guard. I mean, maybe we'll have Aaron Rodgers for another year, but they know Davante isn't getting re-signed. Bobby Tunyon ain't getting re-signed. This could be their last legitimate shot with Aaron Rodgers under center to win a Super Bowl. So this is going to be a tough game, except we're not really making it particularly tough on them. Get the touchdown there, 14-17, but Seattle has been going down the field fairly easy on us, which is not great. But we cut it to 3 going into the second half. Seattle starts out with a touchdown. Come on. It's not looking good for us, man. This is just a game where, you know, you can't give up 34 points to Russ. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's been multiple, I think 2 drives already. We've had turnovers on downs, not getting points, and it feels like every time Seattle's touched the ball on the offensive side, they have scored, which kind of just further reiterates we need to get better at corner, probably up that defensive line a little bit, get a little bit more pass rush involved. We had no one go over, 10 sacks or anything like that. That's a disappointing result, though. This is, the last dance for Rodgers and Davante Adams. Definitely not how they wanted to go out. And end of the year 1, another reason why for tomorrow's video. I mean, the Carolina Panthers are just so good in Madden 22. It makes, you can't do the Panthers franchise. As much as I wanted to play McCaffrey so bad. It just is what it is. But so as we are closing out the lockers, congratulations to them. We have still we're in the red for salary cap, which isn't good. Not what you want. But let's take a look at our roster, see if any other dev traits potentially happened. Did Aaron Rodgers retire? Okay, no, he didn't. We were actually minus $22 million in salary cap. And I don't know, something happened. I hope someone didn't retire. I don't think. It's not the retirement screen. So let's just look at dev traits. Let's focus on some positives here. So on the offensive side of the ball, Aaron Jones is up to a superstar X Factor. Great. McCole Hardman hit on his dev trait. Defensively, let's see what we got. Kenny Clark up to a superstar X Factor. That is definitely a hit. Stokes went up dev trait in season, much like McCole Hardman. So, you know what? 2 new X Factors between Kenny Clark and Aaron Jones. That is a win as we enter a very difficult offseason where we're going to be losing a lot of talented players and we just don't have the salary cap to bring in new ones. We start the offseason with Mercedes Lewis. I guess we would consider him a Jaguars great for retiring. Thank you for your service. Mock Draft 3 has us yet again going with an edge rusher. Okay, no, not doing that. So we go in with just $2 million of available salary cap. I feel like we got to rip the Band-Aid off. As much as, it just makes sense to have Aaron Rodgers for another year and just kind of gracefully, let his contract expire. He can do what he wants to do. Does he want to go to Jeopardy? Does he want to be just full-time on McAfee's podcast? But I think the fact that we can save, a couple $1,000,000 here or there, maybe be able to sign a guy this offseason. We know we're moving on from him. This could just very well be Aaron Rodgers respectfully asked for his request from the organization, and we said, you know what? It's time to commit to Jordan Love. Don't want this to be a distraction. So Aaron Rodgers, who almost certainly won't be on Green Bay this offseason, we're going to make it so he's not on Green Bay this offseason in our rebuild. Freed up some money. Let's see if we can maybe get a target or 2 in free agency. But the Jordan Love era in Green Bay. This man, 71 star dev. What do we got? 90 throw power. Pretty good, actually. It's begun. QB 10. Let's go. And by moving on from Aaron Rodgers, wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he doesn't go somewhere within the division like Detroit or something like that. We have $29 million worth of salary cap. That's, one really good player and maybe 2 solid role players that we can bring in. So while it's annoying to see 2 of the top 3 players on the open market be guys that we just couldn't afford, I want to still try to be as aggressive as I can. So we have 3 targets that I've identified that would be 3 starters. First, we got Michael Gallup, who's kind of the forgotten man. They're in Dallas, but he's really good. At only 26, given a 4-year deal till he's 30, 84 star. I think he could come in, be that, I don't know, necessarily wide receiver 2 with Hardman right away. And then eventually, if we could hit on a guy in the draft, it also leaves a spot with another guy in the draft. Because I know Cobb's kind of a veteran. Don't know if Rodgers can really take that next step. But I think Gallup is going to be one of the prize free agents this upcoming offseason in real life and in Madden. Then we got Dante Jackson, the former Carolina Panther. Scheme fit 83, only 26. It still has a whole lot of football left. We bring him in, pair it with Jair and Stokes. We don't want to, let's set and forget in that secondary as long as we can keep them in the building. And then we got Malik McDowell on the defensive line. I would bring him in as a defensive end. 6'6", 315. Was very talented coming out of college, but had some off the field stuff. But I really want to try to capitalize on that dev trait. So let's see if we can go 3 for 3 and then go into the draft. Let's go. That is what we needed. Malik McDowell, Jackson, Gallup, all coming to Green Bay. Still a little bit of money left to spare. That's exactly what we look at. Let's see this 4th mock draft. Have they got any more accurate? Do they use any sort of real-time free agency signings to kind of alter where you're going. We got Owen Popo, middle linebacker. That is slightly more realistic of a selection for us at pick 24 in the first round. I want to diversify our final private workouts of the draft process. Kind of just want to get one player at each position that could be in contention for our first pick. So I'm going to start with Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. I think he'd be a potentially great fit. At tight end, I mean, maybe we could do Weidermeyer. Let's do that because we have already, gave some attention here to Billingsley. Let's get more information on Weidermeyer. And then when it comes to the rest of the team, I guess offense could be a selection there for sure. As far as like what selection, I mean, I think Kenyon Green top 5 is going to kind of be out of our range. Maybe we look, again, you look defense. Who's really going to be in our range? I have no idea how the draft board is going to fall. The last mock draft had us getting Popo, middle linebacker. I feel like we got to go offensive line. There's still too many holes on the right-hand side. So let's get Ekwonu from North Carolina State. Those will be our 3 additional private workouts. Again, to peak final mock draft. And they have us, that's kind of frustrating. The 2 guys that I am genuinely interested in going right before us. But we still are stuck with Owen Popo and stuck. I think he'd be still a great fit next to Chris Barnes there in the middle of our defense. Okay. You look at a Popo, great athlete, 4.5 in the 40, elite jumping, everything else there is fairly great. Still think, though, if a Burks or a Weidermeyer, Burks' speed is the issue with him coming out of Arkansas. Is he going to be able to get that separation? 4.48 would be outstanding for Treylon Burks if he was able to hit that the comment. That would probably maybe even solidify him in the wide receiver 1 conversation. And then we have Weidermeyer here at tight end, looking for a replacement for Bob Tunyon, 4.60. He's one of those guys he's a receiver, proven receiver, good athlete, but he's a very well-rounded tight end. You're getting good blocking. Kind of reminds me O.J. Howard a little bit when he was coming out of Alabama. But, there's going to be some good guys available when it's our turn to pick late in the first round. And I just want to see where our guys were in free agency. Aaron Rodgers still on the open market. He probably won't get signed until the upcoming preseason. That tends to just actually happen when you release somebody like that big. And Davante Adams staying in the NFC, going, what? Did they lose anybody? Are they going to have next? Let me just see here. So next season, the Seattle Seahawks are going to have Davante Adams, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. Okay. It's time for the draft. And usually I just sim right to where I pick in the draft, and I will. But the fact that the Detroit Lions have picked 1, divisional rival. Minnesota Vikings have picked 2, divisional rival. Detroit Lions have picked 5. I just want to kind of see the shape and the landscape of our division for these first couple picks, and then we will get to ours. So at number 1, the first overall pick in 2022. How do we do this? Let's go. Lions select Matt Corral. Okay, expected. Minnesota Vikings at pick 2. Bring in Kayvon Thibodeau. I kind of want to just see how the Detroit Lions plan to finish out the first round. Hopefully it's not someone super annoying. So the Lions get Matt Corral and Kenyon Green. They take the safe pick on the offensive line. Okay. Oh, shit, Burks just went. Okay, let's see. Who's left at 24? Looking at the board here. Not amazing. So positions that we know we want to try to move. So first off, we have wide receiver. George Pickens is there. A little bit of a, prima donna diva. I feel like I would feel better second, third round getting a Robinson or a Jahan Dotson or something like that. Or Drake, if Drake London's still there, USC, there could be some value. I'm not seeing the value at wide receiver. At tight end, Billingsley is still there. Second, third round. If we can find a way to get him in the second round, we'll be laughing straight to the bank. You go to the offensive line. They do have Kirkland. Legit first rounder. Could slide him over to right tackle. That is most likely, I would say right now, that is the best selection. If not, we could go, Ekwonu or Ryan on the offensive line. But I think Kirkland is probably the safest pick that I'm seeing so far, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Jordan Davis could be a great get, but he's a nose tackle. We have Kenny Clark, X Factor. Don't really need to step on any toes there. Popo's still there at middle linebacker. We have scouted him fairly hard. You know what I'm saying? We have good scouting. Great athlete. Could come. But it's like, no, we just re-signed Barnes. Is bringing in linebacker 2 top priority. Great edges there. So there's some good corners, but we did bring in Dante Jackson. Man, I'm thinking we go O-line here. You can't have, the kid Jordan Love fighting for his life. So I think Jackson Kirkland sliding him to right tackle. That is the selection we need to make. And he comes in hidden dev trait. So this is the best thing I think they did in this scouting update. Personally, everything is hidden. You have to work for it. We did not scout him to the 9s. We did get some scouting. So we got to wait and see how good of a player he is. And this, obviously, when we get into non-created draft classes, generated draft classes, it's going to be very, very important to do your homework on all your scouting. But there we go. We got ourselves a brand new right tackle. Second round, pick 24. Looking at the board, John Mechie's still there for a wide receiver. Top pick is Jaquan Brisker, the safety out of Penn State. Still some pretty good players here, but I think for me, the fact that Billingsley is still there, very, very good athlete at tight end. Think he's slipping because he did get bench opening game, but the fact that he's elite at everything, a 4.44. We got to replace Tunyon. Tunyon very much a pretty much out-and-out receiver at tight end. I think we can get that in Billingsley, so we're going to bring him in. Hidden at dev, tight end out of Alabama. 92 acceleration, 91 speed. Let's go. Big down in the 4th round. We don't have a 3rd. That's going to the Chiefs, McCole Hardman. I'm looking at DJ Dale from Alabama. Usually it's safe to bring in an Alabama linebacker. I also think there's some guys here at middle linebacker that I would very much like. I think Wilson Sanborn, Mike Rose. I think the fact that I like 3 middle linebackers that are still on the board and only really 1 defensive lineman. It's Dale at 6'2", 300 pounds. We could kick to one of the defensive end spots. We are going to draft him out of Alabama and DJ Dale, normal dev. Okay, a little bit lower, but they're not all going to have hidden dev traits. Something that is kind of weird that I didn't actually notice from my first review and breakdown of the new scouting is like, so when you draft a player, they kind of mask it, fog of war. That's what they call in the sports speak. But then as soon as you go to the draft recap, it gives you the overall ratings of these guys. Kind of weird, right? But we got Jackson Kirkland, brand new starting right tackle, 69. Not happy being here, is what it is. But he's a 70 hidden dev. Happy with that. We got Jaleel Billingsley in the 2nd round, 74 hidden dev. Pretty much a wide receiver. He's literally like a poor man's Kyle Pitts to a certain degree. So happy to have him here. More explosive. We got DJ Dale, 68 normal dev D tackle. Bernard, 63. That's actually not a great pick there. Aeneas Smith from A&M, versatile, running back, wide receiver type hybrid, 93 speed, 93 acceleration. Not a great catcher because he's more of a jack of all trades type player, but I think he will be able to find maybe carve out a role here. We got a 69 punter, Camarda from Georgia, and then we brought in Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons' brother, Alec Lindstrom, to be depth at center. All in all, in fact, top 2 picks, premier picks, hidden dev traits. Can't get a whole lot better than that. So I'm not going to do this every single year, but essentially how I'm going to shape our team is every single year I'm going to look at the positions that we have, that we need weaknesses, the ones that we need to scout the most, and make sure that our scouts align with our organizational needs. Right now, we do not need a corner, so thank you for your service, Atkins. We do not... I still got to keep John Kuhn here, but the thing that sucks is that Kuhn is taking up a tier 2. It'd be nice if it was just a 1. We could just have him out there. The fact that he's taking a tier 2, it's annoying, but I really don't need him there. Thank you for your services, Kuhn. We're just so stacked there. Wide receiver, we could have that. I think offensive line, still definitely need a guard. Middle linebacker, still could use a middle linebacker. So we'll keep, actually, you know what? I don't think middle linebacker's top priority. We're going to do a complete revamp here of our scouts. I think for our tier 3 scout, we're going to bring in Richard Seymour, former Patriot and Raider D tackle. More so, I view that D tackle as like, it's our front 3, because most likely we'll scout the D tackles and they'll get guys that can more so shift to a D tackle in a 4-3. I think it's going to be worth finding a legit 2nd tier scout to replace John Kuhn. I don't like looking at who's there. What do we really need here? Chris Long, again, just to hammer home that front 3, but again, that's maybe too many eggs in the basket there. Reggie Wayne, a lot of former players here in that 2nd tier. I feel like we are kind of good at wide receiver. Corner's good. This is tough, honestly. I think we'll go with... you can never have enough corners. Amos is getting up there in age. You can never have enough corners. Amos is getting up there in age. We'll bring in Rondé Barber. So here's our squad for year 2 of the Green Bay Packers. Madden 22, realistic rebuild, offensive line. Jackson Kirkland, our 1st round selection, will be holding up that right-hand side of the line. Jaleel Billingsley will be our starting tight end. And on the skill position spot, we rounded out with Michael Gallup, one of our big free agency signings, but the biggest... not necessarily question mark, but the biggest change is clearly under center Jordan Love. This is his team now. He has 4 years to get this team to a Super Bowl and to match the success, at least in the postseason, that Aaron Rodgers achieved with Green Bay, which is weird to say, man. He should have won more Super Bowls. Front three, we add in Malik McDowell plus a now fresh, hot off the press superstar X Factor in Kenny Clark. Rest of the front seven, Smith, Barnes, and Gary return. Summers has an opportunity here at middle linebacker too. Had a lot of holes, could only fill so many of them. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. Savage and Amos make a great safety duo. Jackson coming over in free agency pairs very nicely with X Factor Jair Alexander and Eric Stokes. I think the secondary is good. I honestly, even then, you know, with Lowry, doesn't look anything special. Summers, I still don't think there's enough holes that it's going to be a bad unit. And really, this team's going to go as far as Jordan Love can take us. So the last thing we can do before we go into year two is just kind of look at the draft prospects here. Where are good, what are the guys we really want our scouts to kind of hone in on? Quarterback, I mean, maybe can't completely eliminate it. I mean, I would say the first six, all are going to be quarterbacks that very well could have like a dedicated rebuild at some point. But I mean, unless Jordan Love is really getting in the area of more interceptions and touchdowns, probably won't be investing in a quarterback in at least this year. Could go wide receiver. Really talented wide receiver class. Boutte, Marvin Mims, Parker Washington really are the top three. Jarrett from Maryland's good. Ohio State receivers tend to be pretty studly as well. On the offensive line, we really need a guard. So unfortunately, it's not a particularly strong guard class. Putnam from Clemson is currently the top left guard. Right guard's Matthew Jones from Ohio State. But we have Skoronski from Northwestern, who's outstanding tackle, but he was recruited as a guard. Played guard in high school, so maybe that's something we consider. Back-to-back first-round investments, solidifying that right-hand side of the offensive line. There are worse ways to build your team. Flipping to defense, we do need a 3-4 defensive end. So you're looking at this. I mean, Canty, 275 maybe. He's second, third round. We had Miles Murphy in the first realistic rebuild. We got him up to an X Factor. He was outstanding, but there's still our first round, 3-4, like Redmond, 280. He can be 3-4. Jeff Coates, 275, 3-4. Ebogby from Alabama, probably butcher that, 285, 290 for Roberson. Like, there is some 3-4 defensive ends that we could make an investment in before the end of the second round. Plus, we have Brzee from Clemson, who's amazing, but we're not going to be picking top 5. Dexter from Florida is a beast. Tim Smith. I mean, there are guys here, more so a D tackle that I think could slide as a 3-4 defensive end. That is a position of strength in this draft. Do you have Sewell? Much like Miles Murphy, we used him in the last rebuild, but if he's still there, we will pull the trigger. But I think Sewell and Jack Campbell really on paper are the top two middle linebackers. It's a good middle linebacker class to get that second middle linebacker, then play next to Chris Barnes. I mean, some of these outside guys we can kick inside for sure. So it's a talented draft class. Hopefully our scouting gives us some great players. But without further ado, let's get into year two. And I'm not liking the accuracy of these mock drafts. This is only week 2, so you could classify this as like a way too early mock draft. They have us going Tank Bigsby. Does Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon not exist in this algorithm? We're at the midway point of season 2, 7-2. Man, Vikings also very competitive. But it's time to talk about some contracts, as well as focusing. Let's see this. Let's scout who we're going to focus here. For the first wave, we have 3 options. I think it still remains paramount that we focus and try to hammer home our must-have targets. So I'm going to start with Skoronski, the tackle, because we're more so going to project him as a guard. And I mean, with Elton, just think back to the Elton Jenkins selection. They prioritize the offensive line, even if it costs an expensive pick. I think Jalen Redmond also should be heavily considered, and I also want to look here at D tackle. My boy Dexter here from Florida. We're gonna be well out of Breezy's range, but let's see if we can get Dexter on board, confirm it. Let's go. And now we have contracts. Now we have a lot more money to play with this offseason. So even after we offer Jair $109 million, $92 million cap, so we can even, or I'm gonna pay him more. Can't let him leave the building. Same goes Elton Jenkins. Give him a 4-year deal, just over $10 million cap hit. Get him locked in, keep him happy. I think Amos, again, I think it comes down to the fact that even when he regresses, at the end of that 4 years, he's probably going to be 81, 82, still a very serviceable starting strong safety. And if we let him walk, he's going to be the best guy available at that spot. So let's bring him back. We have Zadarius Smith. Okay, we're getting into some pretty expensive territory. I'm seeing why we have so much money. I think McCole Hardman is important to keep for the remainder of this rebuild. Under a $10 million cap hit for a guy that's really excelled since he's been here. Darnell Savage at free safety. I was such a fan of the selection when they grabbed him out of Maryland. So I want to keep him on the back end of the defense. I think Rashawn Gary, well, because of Rashawn Gary, we moved on from Preston Smith. It would be kind of dumb to let him lead the building. $91 million is so much. Then we got Zadarius Smith. This is like coming to the territory. I don't know if we can pay everybody, but we also have the money to potentially pay him. But where is he going to be at the end of that 4 year? I can see him being like 80. And he's a little bit more of an investment here than, say, an Amos. It's more than double for maybe the same amount of regression. But he's been good. That's a tough contract. I think we're going to take a wait-and-see approach. If Zadarius Smith gets 9, 10, 11 sacks, even more, I think we have to kind of, throw his age to the side because we know he excels in our scheme. Like, we're paying $79 million and just think about the sack, not so much about just thinking the constant of like, oh, his rating's going to go down and stuff like that. If he's still performing, he's going to be worth that investment. Let's wait and see if he can earn this contract here in year 2. And our streak of just not being able to buy the 1 seed and a bye continues. It was neck and neck between us and the Vikings. Vikings won week 18. We lost week 18, and that is the difference between being the 1 seed, being the 2 seed. Oh my God. I'm going to say it's almost annoying how much I'm the 2 seed in these rebuilds. Be it realistic, be it regular. But I'm happy. 12 wins with a brand new quarterback. Maybe the whole nurturing process, getting Jordan Love, having him sit behind Aaron Rodgers, is actually the method and the solution to having just success right away. I do not like seeing that. Best of luck to Aaron Rodgers. Happy that he's doing well. Also, for anybody, if at any point you're going C4, Preston Smith from McCole Hardman, are you kidding me? Preston Smith leads the league in sacks. Look at this. 20 sacks. I'm not going to hear it. This is the last time I bring it up because I could still see people being like, oh, look at that tree. 20 sacks. We're missing out. I'm happy I got the dev trade. I'm happy with McCole Hardman, but, I don't think Kansas City's losing any sleep over it. 4,200 yards, 35 touchdowns, 7 picks for Jordan Love. Outstanding. Amazing. Exactly what you need for a first-year starter. We have 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns for Aaron Jones, 3 and 9 for A.J. Dillon. On the receiving front, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns for our big free agency signing, Michael Gallup. Happy with that. 11 and 6 for Hardman, 8 and 7 for Aaron Rodgers. The rookie, Jaleel Billingsley, 66 catches, 600 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's a hell of a rookie season. On the defensive side of the ball, Barnes on the team, 136 tackles, had 2 picks as well. Summers with 126. On the sacks front, 11 from Zadarius Smith, 14 TFLs. I think we might have to pay him. It's a tough decision though, man. We're going to be handicapped. We're going to have maybe like $15 million worth of salary cap hit the open market in this free agency period. But that's super productive. I mean, we could also try to draft his replacement. A lot of good edge rushers. But, we have other holes that we're planning on addressing in the draft. He's backing up what I said, man. I said if he hit a number like this, I'd offer him how about this? Here's what we'll do. We'll look here at the yearly awards very quickly. Just MVP. It goes to Saquon. Where is Aaron Rodgers? Fucking Bucks, man. Grow up. Do we have anybody here? Nope. Let's just look quickly at NFC. Do we have any award winners? That's all we'll highlight. Malik Willis, Thibodeau. Jordan Love is the quarterback of the year. He could be very well in store for a earned, Bakhtiari there online, but Jordan Love earned dev trade upgrade. He go up to superstar just because he balled out this year and got QB of the year. It's looking pretty nice. But point being, back to the original contracts. I think what we'll do with Zadarius Smith is I'll offer that contract. The first contract, if he takes it, he takes it. If he declines, we're not going to go back to the table. But first thing is first, here in year 2, Jordan Love makes his first playoff start. His first playoff appearance against the 9-8 LA Rams. So we were 1 and done with Aaron Rodgers. So maybe Jordan Love could be a better sim quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I have no real reason to lean either way on that question. But we'll see. We'll be able to find out here firsthand. Green Bay hanging there with the Rams. Rams are more primed, I would say, at this point to winning. We just... it's not looking good. It just looks like we're on the ride. We're just another step on the Rams' journey here on going on a deep playoff run. 41 points. Another thing comes. It's like, all right, do we really want to pay money to Zadarius Smith? We still gave up 44 points in the playoffs. Will we give up 54 if we didn't give $80 million to an aging edge rusher? Jesus, not a good performance defensively. You're not going to win any games in the sim if you're giving up 5 touchdowns to Matt Stafford, 44 points to the Rams. It's really disappointing here in year 2. So look at the recap for year 2. It was a Chiefs-Vikings Super Bowl, and the Vikings curse continues. And there you go, man. Right in our face. Preston Smith is the MVP. Not only had 20 sacks this year, he's unstoppable. Now they went to the Chiefs. But at least we don't have to deal with that. It's in the AFC. Let's take a look at our roster. Do we have any dev traits? Really hoping for Jordan Love to be superstar after winning quarterback of the year in the NFL. And of course he didn't. He got an upgrade. Unreal, man. And my controller died. To top it all off, man, unreal. Quickly just burning through it. Kirkland, who had a hidden dev, comes out as a star. He's up to a 77 star. Billingsley had a hidden dev. He's up to an 81 star. So great progress, I guess. Not amazing, but great progress for our guys there. No dev traits earned here, which is unfortunate. Come on. Okay, I'm not going to be a Howie Roseman. I'll be a man of my word. I said if he got double-digit sacks, I would offer him a contract, but I'm only offering him this. If not, best of luck to you elsewhere. And he just flipped us the bird. Mock draft has also changed. They've got something a little bit more realistic. Even, I don't know. We got Jaden Hill, corner from Florida. For free agency, it's actually like an insane free agent class. Nick Bosa, Hawkinson is there. Chubb's there. Montez Sweat. There's some really, really intriguing names. But to work within our salary cap, here's kind of where I'm going. Because, I mean, Nick Bosa, I'd need him to have to move him to an edge rusher, stand up outside linebacker. Too much of a stretch. If we were in a 4-3, I would, especially seeing the Minnesota Vikings bidding on him. Don't really want Nick Bosa within the division. But we're still going to be aggressive. Daron Payne, 6'3", 320. Be able to kick him into one of our defensive. It'll be Malik McDowell, Kenny Clark, and then Daron Payne. That is, pretty much shoring up that front three for the remainder of the rebuild. I got Nate Davis on the offensive line, really just plugging in another hole. I actually want to make sure. This is actually probably our most, give him 5 and a 5.5 there. This might be our most important signing because I think that solidifies our offensive line. Then I'm looking at Cody Barton here. Run stuffer at a outside linebacker. I kick him inside to play him with Chris Barnes. Only 26, has that star dev. So that's just a nice piece, filling in holes to kind of make us a little one-dimensional in the draft, which is kind of where I want to be, so that there's clearly 1 or 2 positions max that we should target with that first-round pick. All right, man, 3 for 3. Nate Davis, Daron Payne, Cody Barton. Welcome to Lambeau Field. Welcome to Green Bay. So now that free agency is passed, we've kindly plugged some holes. It's time to set our 3 private workouts. These are going to be the guys that we most likely want to try to target. I think wide receiver makes definitely some sense here. So let's see. Which one of the wide receiver? I would love Boutte. There's no way he's going to fall, I don't think. DMAS A&M, really good. Redshirt sophomore. Parker Washington. Pence. I mean, we need a slot. So most likely we'll get Parker Washington. I think he's 5'10", 210. The most slot build out of all the tight ends that are available. We're good on the offensive line. Defensive line, also pretty good. I think edge rusher is where we need to go. And unfortunately, Will Anderson is probably going to go top 3. So let's get, we'll bring in B.J. Ojulari, edge rusher from LSU. And I think we might as well Nolan Smith, Drew Sanders, one of those two kind of. Let's go Drew Sanders from Alabama. Those will be our 3 because I think edge rusher and or slot wide receiver should be one of our top options in the first round. Even after our inches, I mean, they have Drew Sanders going before we select. That's about it, man. And then the final mock draft still has us going corner and bringing in the corner from Florida, Jaden Hill. Don't think that's the direction we'll be going. Here we go. Pick 24 in the first round of the 2023 draft. What does the board look like? Wide receiver. We're looking for edge rusher. And for wide receiver, we got Demas is still there from A&M. Parker Washington is still there. Let's see. What did our scouts have to say? Physicals, 4.40. There's pro day. Improved the time a little bit. Shuttle's good. 3 cones good. Has great strength for the position. I mean, he is a powerhouse. Pretty good there. Okay. Washington looks fairly decent. Back to the edge. We have, I'm not really going to be trying to transition one of the D linemen to a stand-up guy. We still have B.J. Ojulari. What's the scouting report there? Man, B-zone coverage pretty good. 4.58 at his pro day. Elite jumping. I feel like I'm liking Ojulari a little bit more than Parker Washington. And Drew Sanders is already off the board. So I just think we get our replacement right away. For Zadarius Smith, it is going to be Azeez Ojulari, who's looking pretty good as a rookie in real life for the Giants. His brother from LSU, B.J. Ojulari. Let's go. Have hidden dev. He does. Let's go. 87 acceleration, 84 speed. That is That's decent, man. We got A, finesse move, B, block shed, B, zone coverage. That's really intriguing to get for that for his grade. Happy with it. Well, seems fitting enough, man. Wide receiver. There's the top guys here. We have Demas, who's gone up 29 spots. Make sure I'm not missing any. We just need a third wide receiver to come in and compete with Aaron Rodgers. I'm thinking, Demas looks like the best if we're going by the board. I won't use my Florida Gator bias. High upside. Let's go, man. Hit it, Dev! Absolutely not what we need. He's outside. He's not a slot. But we can move, gallop into the slot or something like that. 93 speed, 93 acceleration, 90 speed, 91 jumping, hidden Dev. Let's go. How is he still there in the second round? I think he's already had like a suspension at A&M for something off the field, but not a lot of like ways to get into trouble in Green Bay. For our draft recap, happy that we got 2 hidden Dev players. Seems like almost consistent, be it my own draft classes or the Generate draft classes. I'm hitting on 2 hidden Dev players per draft, and we got that in edge rusher Ojulari, who's bringing in a 74 overall rating. Long ways to go to really fill the shoes of Darius Smith, but I think sooner than later could hit that. And then Demas coming in to just add that third wide receiver option to our squad. We got Teron Vincent, 65 normal Dev D end. Kavon Bennett, depth at edge, 66 normal. Christian Jones from Texas, 65 normal. Max Mitchell from Louisiana, 65 normal, depth on the O-line. And then Marcus Hooker, 60 overall, depth safety, going to be a special teamer. He is obviously the brother of the other Hooker that used to play for the Colts, now on the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh, I can't remember his name. Why can't I remember his name? Because he hasn't really done anything in the NFL yet. All right, so now we are here for year 3. First year with fake college players. So I don't want to preview it as much because, with the realism, I want to focus on the realistic college players that will be entering into the league. But now we're going to generate. I'm actually more intrigued because I have no idea how the scouting is going to play out. But it'll be fun. Here's our team. Year 3. Jordan Love, quarterback of the year in the NFC. Did not go up a dev trait, which is incredibly unfortunate. He was also the passer rating leader, and we got nothing. No dev trait, which is frustrating because that should be good enough to get him up to a star. But looking at the rest of the offense, everything else remains the same. We bring in Nate Davis in free agency to solidify the offensive line, and we're looking for big step-ups. I want Billingsley to step up. I want Demas, the second-round pick at A&M, hidden dev. I want him to step up. And then on the defensive side of the ball is where we spent some money. We got Deron Payne really solidifying the front 3, and we bring in Barton at middle linebacker to partner Barnes. Should be a great tandem. And then our first-round pick, B.J. Ojulari, getting the start as a rookie. Going to be interesting to see. We know the baseline was around 11 sacks last year for Darius Smith. Kind of big shoes to fill, but those are the expectations. I want to see Ojulari get double digits as a rookie. Not really sure where we're going wrong here. 2-5. Midway point. Taking a look here. Let's see the mock draft. What do the mock draft experts think? We have a top 5 pick. Why are we looking at corner? What do you think, Kitty? Meow. What do you think? You think we should get a corner? I don't think so. Unreal. What do they have us for the first mock draft? Like, I'm starting. I like how easy this is on the eyes, just to kind of look. And where the hell is our pick? Green Bay. Still corner. Like, it seems like it's not tuned. For our contracts, always a little bit more frugal when we have a bad record with the contract. It's like, all right, well, these people are part of the problem. Oh, no. We made the commitment to Jordan Love, so I suppose a deal like this needs to be made, realistic or not. Don't need A.J. Dillon, unfortunately. You only need one, really need one running back. That's kind of expensive, and we need to save that little bit of scratch to maybe sign one guy in this upcoming offseason. So Jordan Love, $122 million investment. Start picking it up this year. I need to see what I saw last year. Wow. That was literally right before I hit play. I said in week 18, that was the first words I meant. Wow, we only lost 2 games to close out the season, finishing 10-7, winning the NFC North, our first NFC North title. 45 points against the bottom-dwelling Bears, with Jordan Love getting 5 touchdowns. Let's go. And we made the playoffs. We got Seattle. A little bit of a revenge game there, for sure. Let's take a look at the league real quickly. Mahomes was absurd with 57 touchdowns. Davante Adams leading the league there in receiving. Happy for those guys, I guess. To go on, have success elsewhere is what it is, man. We're not going to be that salty ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, whoever's watching this. Jordan Love stepped it up, man. 122 million bucks, getting that return on investment here. 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, 10 picks, very good. 16 and 15 for Aaron Jones. He, as much as it is in real life, great to have these two guys in your backfield. In Madden, just doesn't make sense to pay your RB2. You can draft a good RB2 as soon as it comes contract time, though. And looking at the receivers, 3,000 yards, 1,306 for Hardman, 1,106 for Gallup, 1,007 for the rookie Demas, 7 and 7 for Billingsley. Hell yeah. Jones also chipped in 300 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. This offense is absolutely rolling. Defense, that's where we've been spending our money. Barton led the team, 116 tackles, over 100 for Barnes, 8 sacks Gary, 8 for Kenny Clark, 5 for McDowell. Ojulari with only 4, 3.5 from Payne. Sacks are not where we want, especially because, you look back to last year, we kind of just nonchalantly were like, yeah, Rashawn Gary, 91 million bucks. But the reality is, that's a lot of money for a guy that hasn't got double-digit sacks yet. You're kind of gambling on his upside. 4 picks, Amos, 3 picks for Jair. Acceptable numbers. Very quick look at the yearly awards. MVP went to Russell Wilson. That's awesome. Get to see him in the first round of the freaking playoffs. Jordan Love coming in at number 9 in the NFC. Russell Wilson, Offensive Player of the Year. Got Aaron Donald, Marvin Mims. What do you call it? Must have been close. Demas, runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Individual awards, I don't think we'll see too many. Bakhtiari there for the Green Bay Packers has just been consistently winning the best offensive lineman. But now, and I saw it, and you should remember, hopefully, Davante Adams is honing his craft in Seattle. So this is the Davante Adams revenge game to kick off year 3 in the playoffs. Okay, this is a team that is looking for their first playoff victory. 0-2. Is this the time against Davante Adams? Or is Davante Adams going to get the last laugh? Even though, really, I don't think there's any hard feelings. We literally couldn't afford him. I would have kept Davante Adams if we had the salary, too. I think he's probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. And we're getting cooked. Jesus, man. What is the point of, investing in defense? They just don't do anything, man. Can we get a touchdown, please? We can't even get a touchdown, dude. Hey, garbage time. Better than ever. Huck. With a recap, look at my team ranks. Everything's green for the most part. I don't know, man. Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Mike Hughes turning his career around. Former first-round pick of the Vikings. As we clean out our lockers, any dev traits to at least go into the fourth offseason with some momentum. Let's see, on offense, yes. If you had to get one, that's the one you want. Jordan Love is up to a superstar. Very nice. Very, very nice. He's coming along nicely. And I don't really think obviously we didn't score many points in that game, but I think it's been the defense. It's been kind of pissing me off. Demas, hidden dev, comes out with a star. So, still have yet to, cheese my drafts too much to get the guys that have superstar, or if there even is ones, guys that have superstars. Ojulari is a star, 79 star. No dev traits gained, I don't think, on the defensive side of the ball, but hey, you get superstar for Jordan Love, that's a win. With just under $4 million in free agency, we simply don't have the money to sign anybody, which stinks because Justin Jefferson would be awesome. T. Higgins would be pretty awesome. I don't really need these guys, but yeah, we're going to sit this one out. For our roster, man, I was like, all right, where do we got to go? Now it's almost like, you got to think about contracts, who are we going to be unable to re-sign coming up. Stokes' contract will be coming up. So, maybe we'll take a gander at some corners. Amos is getting older, so safety, focus on the secondary. But, there's no weaknesses in this team. So, we're at that spot where we could focus scout 3 guys right before the draft. And, for our private workouts, I'm generally just BPA. Whatever kind of, strong safety. Let's see what we got here. We got Nate Royal, projected to go in the first round. Things are looking decent there, so let's get him. And then I guess corner, in case we can't afford to re-sign Stokes. We're not going to be picking top 5. So let's just see for the bottom of the first round corners. Nixon, 6'3", got some good length. Cummings, 6'1". We'll be like a girl on Tinder, go with just the tallest guys. Yeah, this is tough. Now that we're coming into it, you almost have to go with the most information you have. And I think if he's coming down for me, Peyton Judge at strong safety, because strong safety and corner were the two that we kind of identified. The player notes look solid, big hit, motor running hot, always looking to intercept passes. Physicals also look fairly good outside of the 40. Elite jumping, great strength, he's solid. Amos, we did pay Amos, but I do have full scouting here on Andrew Cummings, the corner from Wake Forest. You look at the key ratings, I'm thinking back to like how, you would kind of find the tells in the old draft. Like we got B zone, which is good. D-man, C press is not, but he's 6'1", 4.38. Let's do it, man. Best one I see. Normal dev, 95 acceleration, 93 speed. We'll find out that rating once we look at the final draft. I mean, hey, doesn't look like an amazing pick, doesn't look like a shitty pick. Who knows? I'll say this, now that I'm not familiar with the players, I think you need to up the percentage here. I have most of the draft at 40%. I gotta have more knowledge. There needs to be more knowledge gained throughout the entirety of the season. Then, I'm not saying you gotta get 100%. That's the issue with the old way, is that you just hit X 3 times, you have 100% of the scouting. But, I went as broad and generic as I could for my scouting this year. And the fact that literally there's only the guys that I brought in for the private workouts are the only people I have that's consistently over 80% that has information to go in with some form of confidence when you're drafting them. I think we could up the earn rate and completion percentage here in scouting in Madden 22. If we're talking about just buffing, here we go. I'm making a pick. I'm just going to grab the top strong safety. Earl Evans. Hopefully he's good. Honestly, shot in the dark at this point. And he comes in. Hidden dev trait. Let's go. Yeah, I was as excited as you guys are to see what we did in our first draft. Not bad. Man, I was in BPA mode, honestly, just trying to identify guys. So we got Cummings, 76 normal. Let's go. That's I'm good with that one. Evans, 74 with the hidden dev trait. Let's go. We got Capers, 69 normal dev running back. We have Ali, the corner here, 66 normal. Ramirez, 66 normal. We have 64, just doubling up on the running backs there. It was kind of more so, trying to look for speed, combine performance, and then just a depth corner. But I'll take that again, hitting on our top 2 picks. So we start year 4 with a really good squad. We're 91 across the board. 91 offense, 91 defense. You look at the offense, it's just, left-hand side, probably the best in the league. Rest of the O-line, very solid. Billingsley, probably the guy I want to look to right now in the offense to take their game to the next level. I think he still lots of untapped potential. Gallup, Jones, Hardman, Demas, and I actually moved Smith here, who we drafted as a wide receiver at A&M. Moved him to running back, gets shot up to a 77 overall from, I think he was a 71 or 72 wide receiver. So that's a big get there, just to diversify the offense. Make sure we find the best way to get the best players on the field defensively. Lots of silver. Would love at some point here in year 4 for one of these guys to go up a dev trade. If I had to ask, probably Ojulari would make me feel the best because he was really one of our first premier picks. But, I mean, top to bottom, no weaknesses on this squad. Absolutely expect to win the division and go on a playoff run here in year 4. For year 4, looking pretty good. Midway point, 6-1 this season. Top of the NFC North. And we're coming into a game where we have 2 breakout players, but we'll end that here. Let's look at our contracts. First and foremost, have a little bit of money. Not a lot bit. Wish it was a more bit, but I think we have enough to really throw around. Aaron Jones, been very consistent. 4-year deal, 36. Not too shabby. We have Bakhtiari, who we absolutely just want to have for the entirety of this rebuild, so let's give him a 2-year contract. Get him locked up. He definitely seems like a Green Bay lifer. I think Sane could kind of go for Kenny Clark. Developed nicely for us. 3-year deal. Wants a little bit more money, but at this point, absolutely need to find a way to re-sign him. Dante Jackson, Barnes, Stokes. Again, it's almost like the argument is not necessarily do these guys deserve another contract with the squad. I think it's more so if we let them go, I have my doubts that there's going to be an upgrade that hits that open market. I don't think there's going to be a better corner than Dante Jackson that falls within our price bracket. So let's see if we can get Chris Barnes back. Middle linebacker, I think Stokes, again, he's been okay. Not great, but again, if we let him go, try to find another third corner or have one of those young guys that we just drafted really develop, there's probably not going to be a lot of better options at that same price point for Stokes. I think Josh Myers on the offensive line at center, he's been more than serviceable. Let's see, actually, we give him a little bit longer of a contract to lessen the cap hit. 4-year deal, got him locked up. Now here's where we could save a couple bucks here. Cody Barton's our linebacker too. Let's wait and see kind of how he plays this year. Gets a bunch of tackles again. Could be in line for a contract extension, but this could also be a spot we look at an upgrade. Maybe there's an X-Factor linebacker on the open market. Same with Malik McDowell. So yeah, really we'll come back for Kenny Clark. And other than that, open market season. And we have 2 breakout players ahead of this big-time matchup against the 5-3 Titans. First up here, still don't know why we haven't patched in the photo, but this seems like a wide receiver. McCole Hardman, 4 touchdowns, 200 yards, looking to become a superstar X-Factor. Our second breakout player, seeing his primarily as a blocker, it's most likely going to be Jaleel Billingsley, the tight end. 3 touchdowns, 150 yards, get him up to a superstar. That one seems a lot more attainable. We would have lost the game, but Jaleel Billingsley has arrived. Gone up to a superstar dev trait just to verify. And even though it was absolute just shithole of a loss, 39-35, should not be giving up that many points on the defensive side of the ball. Verified. Billingsley, 8 catches, 136 yards, 3 touchdowns. Earns a superstar, much like McCole Hardman did way back in year 1. Year 4 team battle. There was a, I think, 3 or 4 game losing streak near the end of the season there, but finished 11-6, second place in the NFC North. So not another NFC North title we can kind of lay claim to, but wasn't a bad year either way. Look at the passing leaders. Jordan Love. Good God, Nick Chubb had an insane year, but we might have an MVP here in Jordan Love. My God. The successor to Rodgers. First, oh yeah, he's going up to X Factor this year. Year 5, gonna be good. We got first in touchdowns, first in yards, 5,600 yards, 47 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Very good. 15-19 for Aaron Jones, which is pretty disgusting. We have 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns. McCole Hardman on 108 catches. 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns for Michael Gallup. And Jaleel Billingsley, 79 catches, almost 1,200 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Absurd numbers from the Alabama tight end who went up a dev trade in season. Not a bad year there from Aaron Rodgers as well. Defensively, over 100 tackles for Barnes. That's just kind of what he does at this point. We got 12 sacks from Rashawn Gary, 10.5 to Ron Payne, 7 from Kenny Clark. Still not getting much from Ojulari, which is a little disappointed. 3 picks for Jair and Adrian Amos. Really happy with these numbers. For the MVP, come on, it has to be Jordan Love. Let's go. MVP in year 4 of this rebuild. Offensive player of the year went to Dalvin Cook. We got Nick Bosa on the Vikings. Oh, that's going to be so annoying that the Vikings are that good. Jordan Love is QB of the year. Gary, linebacker of the year. He could be in for a dev trade. He's been on star since the very beginning of this rebuild. But we are an absolute powerhouse. We did find a way to make the playoffs. Scratch and clawed, looking for some playoff victories against the 9-8 New Orleans Saints here. Did we get a playoff win last season? It's been a couple hours. I watched the Eagles-Bucks game between year 3 and year 4. I think we may be looking for our first playoff victory still. Let's go, man. I don't care. Ian Book? Yeah, right. If Ian Book can beat my team of 90s with the MVP, I'm not going to finish this video. I'm just going to stop. It's going to be like that E.T. game that got buried in the desert. It's never going to see the light of day. And it's actually not looking particularly good right now. Got a good start, and then all Saints to close out the first half. We're here. We settle for a field goal. 5-point lead. Ugh. Need a touchdown. We're just getting field goals. Hey, there we go. There's a tiny 27-15. Not the dagger. Still too much time left to play. Oh, no. Don't lose the book. They go for a 4th down. They get it. Oh, no. Oh. What is going on? No, okay. What? Whoever got that instant touchdown for us, that would have been an utterly embarrassing loss. 3 touchdowns for Jordan Love, over 100 yards for Aaron Jones. I got to see that last score, though. They got the go-ahead to go up 1 point. Pickens. And then Amari Rodgers in the 2-pointer. Let's go, Amari Rodgers. Been here since day 1 out of Clemson. The Green Bay Packers finally get a playoff victory. Division round, we got Dallas, Dak, Zeke, Murray Cooper. Nice little revenge game on the slate here for Michael Gallup. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, he's been good for us. Get 1,000 yards here and there. Would like him to get 1,000 yards in this one game in Jerry World. to stick it to that old Tales of the Crypt Keeper looking grandfather. Come on, there we go. First touchdown of the game. The Dallas follows it up with an instant touchdown. But there we go. The floodgates have opened. Back-to-back scores. One-score game going into the second half. 17-10. Green Bay get another touchdown to extend it. This is actually looking very good. 30 points. Green Bay just owns Dallas in the playoffs with or without Aaron Rodgers. Dallas is going to make it a little nervous at the end there, but able to kill off the game and go to the NFC Championship. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Copy and paste, it feels like, performance from Jordan Love in both of these games, and that just feels good, getting a win in Jerry World. Oh shit, Super Bowl on the line, and we're taking on the Packers. I kind of want to see what their roster looks like, to be honest with you, before we go in here. They're good, 83 against, but there you go. That's the point being. 83 overall against a 93 overall. We need to win this game. Our team is so stacked. They got Bosa, Dalvin Cook, Hunter. They got Thibodeau. How many edge rushers do you need? I don't even know how you, like, set that up. Just a complete... They got Bijan Robinson at running back and Dalvin Cook. Guess, you know, the drafting and the AI is not great yet in Madden. That is just stupid roster management. They need to lose. They need to be punished. I have done a perfect rebuild. They've literally done, like, a rebuild of, like, I got my 4-year-old to do it. Just sign in whoever. We need to be rewarded with a victory here. I'm actually getting... Right now, usually... I have like a small, it's like desktop mode for my screen while I'm recording. I'm full screening this because if I get to a spot, I'm hopping in and playing. There's no way we're losing to a team that's pretty much like the anti-realistic rebuild squad, okay? We're going to come in if I need to, if we get shenanigan-y. Hopefully I don't. I'm not saying I'm half in the bag, but I don't know if the gameplay would be on point tonight. But we have a lead right now, 14-7. I'll come in on this third down, see where we're at. 3rd and 3. Plenty of options here. Let's go play design for Jaleel Billingsley. Guy has been the star of year 4 of this rebuild. 16 touchdowns and a superstar depth chart in the regular season. We go to him quickly, and that is actually almost picked. Might have been a pick 6. If Eric Kendricks was a little more aggressive, had a little bit better set of mitts on him. But there we go. The computer is bailing me out a little bit here. Getting the touchdown. We'll go another third down. Let's see if I can make it up for him. It's 3rd and 7. Don't think I'm going to run with the running back that I didn't even know who he is on our roster. Got McCole Hardman in the slot. Demas at the top of the screen. I mean, why was my right tackle laying on the ground there? That's what I would like to know. No. Okay, I got to try to win it for him. Got to do something to win it for him. Every time I've come in, literally it's only been a negative play. This is where C4 comes and makes an absolute impact. We got time in the pocket. Got to save him here. Just got to get in field goal range. Doesn't need to be a bomb. I mean, a bomb would be pretty cool. Oh, he gets as he hit. Come on, Hardman. Come on, Hardman. Come back to the football. What the what is this? What? Okay, we're going overtime. Okay, I'm going to do it good this time. Trust me. Give me this goddamn Barks root beer. Says the only thing it got bite. I'm getting a touchdown. Let's go, Gallup. Thought he might have been out of bounds. There we go, cross the midfield. Running a freaking wall, man, on Bosa. Oh, let's go left. Falls forward. First down. What? 3rd and 3. Looking for the first down. I don't want to kick a field goal here. I would rather, let's just get that walk off. Perfect. Well, at least the Vikings lost in the Super Bowl to the Browns. That wouldn't have been a fun Super Bowl to play. Who wants to play the Browns? We won the MVP with Jordan Love. Still plenty of time to put it all together in year 5 and win a Super Bowl and make this the perfect tick all the boxes type rebuild. You know what's going to make it helpful? Is that the fact that there's a brand new X factor on the offensive side of the ball in Jordan Love. Now, I don't know what ability I want to give him. What do we got here? I need literally, like, what is the best ability? First one free, Omaha. Full vision, the defensive coverage. No, I probably won't be able to use that properly. Perfect throw in the run. That's good for me. You know what? We're going to give him the Aaron Rodgers ability. Let's get the gambler. That's what we want, and make it so it's risk-free to throw a risky pass here or there. Jaleel Billingsley's gotten up to a superstar X Factor. Let's go. I guarantee you gave him like a stupid blocking ability. Max security's not too bad. Yeah, you know, indifferent to that one. Any other depth traits? Maybe on the defensive side of the ball. Unfortunately, man, we got no golds. Looking for golds. But I will take an X Factor upgrade for Jordan Love, +2 as well for the attributes. For our final free agency period, I do have 2 players I really want to get on the defense side of the ball. One is Nick Bolton, 83 superstar, formerly, I think it was the Chiefs. Like, I think we pair very nicely with Barnes, get some out there with some more abilities, and then more so maybe Eagles bias. I got Javon Hargrave, who's been absolutely unstoppable for the Philadelphia Eagles in real life this season. But for us, I'm going to take him and make him one of our starting defensive ends, and again, utilize his superstar abilities. All right, swing and a miss on Nick Bolton, able to bring in Hargrave. So pretty much all in with our first round pick in the upcoming draft to find that middle linebacker partner next to Barnes. And oddly enough, our final mock draft before the draft has us projected to get Jonathan Mallard, middle linebacker from Washington. So yeah, let's go, man. First round. Oh, the talent sucks. Why? Oh, because that's what they think. I forget. It's not necessarily in order. It's what the experts think. But we've scouted Mallard, and we know he sucks, so we shouldn't follow the mock draft. I get it. So looking at the board at available line, because I mean our team's stacked. We literally need a linebacker. That is it. So we got to go best linebacker available. And looking at our scouting, unfortunately, the only guy that we have 100%, we found out that he is most likely going to be a bust based off his projections. So I'm just going to go with the second best thing, and that is Chris Roach, who does have a second round grade, 6'5". I mean, I'm a little bit worried. See, look, here's my understanding. He's 6'5", 246. Most likely that's built like an edge rusher or a pass rusher. But then when I actually look at his skills and he has C-man coverage, I'm like, okay, well, C-man coverage for all outside linebackers. Maybe you're more of a well-rounded type. So let's grab him. Christopher Roach, normal dev, 86 speed, 90 acceleration, which is actually pretty insane. Hopefully he can cover and he can move into middle linebacker. And look at the draft results. Man, I got to figure out how to use this. Not a great draft. And both the linebackers we got were absolutely just wasn't enough information. So, kind of my own fault, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really figured out the method to the madness, which is the new scouting yet. So before I even preview the roster, I thought we were going to be absolutely screwed at middle linebacker. And then here's Drew Tranquil, just chilling on the free agency wire before the season starts. So we absolutely will bring him in. That covers, really, I think this is such a complete team. 93 offense, 91 defense, 92 overall. And this is like, you know, realistic rebuild. I wasn't making 3, 4, 5 trades. Wasn't signing the top 5 guys every single year. This is Jordan Love developed. Aaron Jones was developed. A bold trade to bring in McCole Hardman, which benefited both teams, panned out for us. You know, Bakhtiari's developed. Jenkins, Myers, Kirkland. Billingsley's an X factor. So we signed Nate Davis. We signed Michael Gallup. That's pretty much it on offense. Then you look on defense. Man-made. What do we do it the right way? Savage, Gary, Barnes, Ojolari, Amos, already on the squad. We already have Jair. We developed Eric Stokes. Kenny Clark's been a stud. So we brought in Hargrave, brought in Dante Jackson, brought in Deron Payne. A little bit more compliments on the defensive side of the ball, but point still being, we built this team as right away as you can build it, and it actually might right now be the strongest team we've had so far in any rebuild in Madden 22. Fell in the Sleeper Bowl last year. I mean, is what it is. I feel like bad place. Should be able to get back there again here in year 5. And if we get back there again, you know, Super Bowl bound, Super Bowl ring, sounds good for Jordan Love. Matt LaFleur, this rebuild of the Green Bay Packers. So let's get into year 5. And in a shocking turn of events, the best team overwhelmingly in the NFL actually finishes with the best record, 15-2, another NFC North championship. Going to Lambeau, 15-2, that's good. 13-4 Bills. Next closest team is the 11-6 Panthers in the NFC, so let's keep an eye on that. Might see the Panthers a little bit later on in the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey, super annoying to stop. Let's take a look at our team. What played part in securing a first-round bye? The elusive first-round bye. I'm not seeing Jordan Love up there on the passing leaders, unfortunately. Not really seeing much of our guys anywhere, which is fine. Team effort. Dominate on both sides. Don't need one guy. It's a bunch of guys. 40. Ooh, okay. For those of you that may or may not be religious, the yards could be a curse for this year 5. Maybe we're not going to win a Super Bowl. Maybe we are going to make a Super Bowl, depending on the deal that you made. 4,666 for the yards, 38 touchdowns, 13 picks. Jordan Love's been amazing. 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 12 tutties from this guy, Ricardo Capers, just vulturing, filling in that A.J. Dillon role. On the receiving standpoint, 93 catches, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns for Harmon. 11 and 16 for Demas, so he got all of Jaleel Billingsley's touchdowns. 1,004 for Gallup, 8 and 8 for Jaleel Billingsley. Really happy. That's a tough name to say sometimes. Billingsley. But he's been a beast, so we got to get it right. Chris Barnes, 114 tackles, 2 picks on the season. 14 sacks, Kenny Clark. 10.5 for Sean Gary. 5 for Deron Payne. We got 9 by B.J. Ojulari. So, you know, that third season breakout, potentially, for the LSU player. On the interceptions front, Earl Evans with 3. Stokes with 3. 2 for Barnes. I'm going to be honest, a little disappointed that Jair Alexander did not generate more turnovers in this rebuild. But, you know, I assume maybe something in the algorithm. He's been good at the sim, maybe. Dalvin Cook is the MVP. Christian McCaffrey, the runner-up. And then in the rest of the NFC, let's just see, do we have any Green Bay Packers that can flaunt? Bakhtiari, lineman of the year. What else is new? He's won it, I think, 4 to the 5 years. He has been that dominant. But we get to kick our feet up. We get to heal up, ice our wounds, make sure we come in fully fresh, and hopefully not cold, in the divisional round against the 10-7 Seattle Seahawks. Just a quick peek here. They have Davante Adams, which you know. Other than that, it's pretty much the expected Seattle Seahawks squad. Should be a very winnable game. They're too old. We have a full 10 overall points on them. 94 overall team against a 84 overall. We have Jordan Love at home. Please let's not make this harder than it needs to be. We should not face any sort of adversity until the NFC Championship game, and we are down not a lot. I mean, hey, it is what it is. Okay, we still have a chance to let's make some plays here. There's your analysis. Reflection period. This is the last of an experiment. The last of an experience that I think we're going to have in this series. We did one realistic rebuild the Detroit Lions. There wasn't too many people that said there needs to be more gameplay, but we still did not win a Super Bowl. And it was like, oh man, the sim did kind of horse. There was comments like that. So now we went here into year 2. Not year 2, but our second realistic rebuild. Built the filthiest team you'll ever see, and just by doing what we usually do, play offense, come in here and there. Our defense, 92 defense, gave up 5 touchdowns. Again, how many times has our defense failed us in this sim? So that's fine. It's a learning lesson here. This is going to be the final realistic rebuild where I am not playing pretty much the year 5 Super Bowl or bust. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to play all of them, play every single snap, but I'm from here on out, I'm going to treat the realistic rebuilds, especially if it gets to year 5 and we haven't earnestly won a Super Bowl heavy sim the first 4 years. I just think we got to go, man. I need to enjoy I've always sided, and that's what you saw here today, that if I rebuilt this team successfully within the confines of this Madden world, they would win a Super Bowl. That's the train of thought when you do a rebuild. Above all, pretty much anyone that does rebuilds, that is the goal. Because once you start getting on the sticks, once you start influencing gameplay, even though I did come in on the sticks tier 4 and it was absolutely trash. Point being, it doesn't feel, did you rebuild a team to win a Super Bowl, or did you just get on the sticks and you're better than the AI, and that's how you won a Super Bowl? There's always been that little bit of an argument, so you side towards the sim side, but we're 2 realistic rebuilds in. 2 times we've built good teams. This was an absolute god squad, and we walk away with nothing. Lessons been learned. Line has been drawn. Realistic rebuild number 3, which I don't know who the team's going to be. If it goes to year 5, I'll be getting on the sticks. And I say that like I'm confident. I say that with under the mystique that means we're going to win the Super Bowl now from here on out because I'm playing on the sticks. I'm not really good at this game, so it's not a guarantee. It just probably eliminates a lot of the randomness. I don't think if I was on the sticks on the defense with a 92 defense, I would have got cooked by 5 touchdowns for Russell Wilson. So, we learned our lesson, and ultimately still a team that we can be very, very proud of. 90s. Oh my God, man, how did we not win? Jordan Love, come out from behind the shadow of Aaron Rodgers, wins an MVP, develops to an X Factor. He was amazing. Aaron Jones, good. Hardman was the trade of the it's only 2 rebuilds in, but the best trade we've made in any of our realistic rebuilds so far easily was bringing McCole Hardman to Green Bay. Billingsley developed very nicely. O-line came together, and we kept what was already good here for 5 full freaking years. Being able to work and manage the salary cap with Kenny Clark and Jair Alexander taking up so much of our salary cap, we're able to make it work. We drafted fairly well. Man. Put it this way. If you watch this as a Packer fan, you're like, well, that was an unsatisfying end. It's more so for me, because that is, and may be, the best team we built in Madden 22. Hopefully not. We still got a lot of rebuilds to go. But that is pretty damn good. This is going to be the pace car of just team overall, no weakness. And we're one and done in the playoffs. Yeah. We're going to change how we play year 5 from here on out. So, a little bit disappointing, but if you tuned in for a good rebuild, you tuned in for a juggernaut of a Packers team with Jordan Love under center. I hope you get a kick out of today's video. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Would love to hit 150,000 subscribers sooner than later. Leave a comment in the comment section below with what team you want to see next in the realistic rebuilds. For our 3rd one, I'm thinking next week might actually drop 2 realistic rebuilds, so feel free to, hey, even give me 2 teams if you really want. And all I ask for in return is just to help my videos out in the old YouTube algorithm, help them get an exposure just by thumbs up. More thumbs up helps the people find my stuff, and I very much appreciate it. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching the realistic rebuild of the Green Bay Packers here in Madden 22, and I'll see you guys back here in the next one. Tomorrow's video will be the unveiling of our new main channel, Madden 22 franchise mode. Don't miss it. And then on Sunday, just before I think the games start on Sunday, I will have the Super Bowl of Pink Slips Year 3 going live. But that is for me today. Thank you for watching, and peace out.